Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let me first of all appreciate this invitation from the entire management and the psychedelic vice chancellor of the university, our own very good brother, our friend, for us to share our thoughts on this very important topic, bearing in mind that we have less than 30 days or thereabout to the general elections. I will just speak to my paper, and it's something that is in the bullet form or PowerPoint, so that we can just follow me. I'm not necessarily going to read anything because I know the content speaks for itself. So maybe you allow me to share my screen. Yes. Yeah, please just permit me to share my screen.
Please go ahead, sir.
No, it's not enabled here.
It is, sir.
No, it's not. Yes, I'm post.
So, just like if you see the icon there is an arrow pointing upward. So you can click on that, sir. Once you click on that arrow, then it will show you three options: your entire screen in window and tabs. Then you can pick the first one, your entire screen. Thank you. Or if you can share this slide with us, we can share it from the side.
Okay, let me send it to you, Prof.
Okay, sir.
I think we can go on so that time doesn't slip off.
Yes, Prof.
Okay.
Prof,
While we
I've
wait
sent it to you.
for,
Let me just go ahead. I've sent it to your WhatsApp. Now, what we are to discuss is the general elections and the 2022 Electoral Act. What are the salient issues that are involved, and what are the takeaway for us? One thing that we must appreciate is that the current legal regime of our election is such that, oh, thank you, Prof. Is such that, okay, now since you can access the PowerPoint now, the outlines are there for us to see. You know, you see who is this small boy talking, then the introduction, and others like that. Because of time, One thing we have to appreciate, like I said, in this legal regime is that there are some things that were introduced for the purpose of convenience for our electoral practices. And in my introduction, we talked about such things. For example, the 2023 election, we have emphasized that it is a transitional election. In other words, we are going to usher in another regime in terms of presidential, in terms of National Assembly. So it's not just like any other election, you know. And of course, judging from Ekiti and Osun, Nigerians are of high hope in INEC. They are looking up to INEC. They want to see INEC to perform magic. They want their election to count. They want every activity on election day to be, as planned. And that is why we are now saying that any of the mandate, if you look at section 15, the third schedule of the Constitution, if you go there, you will see the mandate of the commission to conduct, to supervise, to coordinate the election into the national, into the presidential election, governorship, National Assembly, and State Assembly. All of this. If you go down, you will see other responsibility of the commission that we carry out. INEC cannot do it alone without the support of all Nigerians. Now, what is the electoral process? Electoral process is an integral and ideal part of democratic process. A malfunctioning electoral system inadvertently produces maladministration or bad governance. In other words, any process of election that is not properly organized cannot be a true reflection of producing good leaders. Now, if you want to have good electoral regime, what ingredient do we think we need to have them? We say credible election are among the chief ingredients. In other words, without somebody coming into public office through a credible election, you cannot say you have a democratic principle of a democratic regime, democratic system. And again, democracy is unsustainable without free, fair, conclusive, and inclusive election in Nigeria. Now, if you look at our electoral cycle, when we say our electoral cycle, in other words, what are those things that we do before the election? What are the things that we do during the election? Post-election, before election, there are so many things that INEC will carry out. And it starts from the usual of planning for the election, training, information, general registration of voters. These are the activities before the election. Now, the election proper itself is an activity that must be carried out for people to know that people are being elected into public offices. After the election, of course, there are a lot of other activities that we do. Sorry, on election day, the issue of results is there. Voting, counting, sorting, and you announce the results. Of course, you know that before the election, nomination of the candidate will have taken place. And also before that, you also have the campaign. Before you now have the election proper that will result to then the post-election activities. Those ones are the ones we do in terms of review of what we have done, the reverse logistics, and all other activities that the commission will carry out. Now, we now have the electoral legal framework. By electoral legal framework, what we mean is that the law there are laws that we use to conduct the election. And one of the key components of the electoral process is the electoral legal framework. The foundation of the whole process and INEC activities premise upon legal instruments. And that is why we are saying that where we do not have adequate legal instrument, the election may be a mirage. And that is one of the things this electoral 2022 has done for us. Now, major changes introduced by Electoral Act 2022. One of them, number one, there are so many of them, but the basic one that we have identified are we have what we call financial independence for INEC. In other words, Section 3, subsection 1 establishes INEC fund to the extent that it stipulates that election fund must be released not later than 1 year before next general election. Therefore, the Commission has all the funds required for the election we are carrying out this year, almost a year before the election. Another key important, change that we have seen in this law is the extension of time frame for publication of election notice. That is contained in Section 28, subsection 1, to the extent that the timetable of election must be published a year before election is conducted. In other words, 360 days to publish notice of election in the state of the Federation. Another important outline we can see is the issue of party primary. Encouragement of early party primary. Parties are encouraged to do their primary and submit the list of their sponsor candidates who emerge from the primary conducted by the party, not later than 180 days before the general election. Another very key important point is the extension of time frame for campaign, by the political parties, to the extent that Section 94 allows political parties to carry out, every political party shall commence the campaign 150 days before the polling days and end 24 hours period to that time. Hitherto, it was not 150 days, I think it was 90 days or so. Now, another important point is that the law now, the Electoral Act, provided for central electronic voter database to the extent that the register of voters shall be kept at national headquarters of the Commission. So without is a requirement which INEC must provide for and which we are provided for in this case. Another very important point is a clear definition of what we mean by overvoting. Section 51, subsection 2, has defined what is overvoting in an election, where the number of voters cast during election in a polling unit exceed the number of accredited voters in the presiding officer shall cancel the result of the election in that polling unit. This is a new clear provision and is contained in the new Electoral Act. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, power of review. This point has been misunderstood and misinterpreted by some of our learned brothers and learned seniors in legal profession, to the extent that they are interpreting Section 65, to the extent that they are thinking or saying that the returning officer or our collation officers, they are at liberty or they have discretion to just cancel or review results at will. That is not what the law is saying. The law is saying that where the collation officer or returning officer has wrongly declared a result or wrongly taken a step not in line with the legal framework that we have, the law is saying that the Commission, shall have the power of review It is the commission that will review, not the collation officer or the returning officer. So it's contained there. Then the death of electoral candidate. Section 34, subsection 1 provides that where before commencement of poll, a candidate dies. This happened in one of the states during a particular election. The law, there was a lacuna in the law, but section 34 has provided now that the election shall be postponed and shall reconvene within 14 days and shall commence within 14 days of the candidate's death. So section 34.3b has provided that now the person who is the deputy candidate in that election shall step in, and another person shall be appointed as the deputy. So section 34 is so clear that if somebody dies now while election is going, there is no need for us to start shouting there is a lacuna, it's not clear. So technology changes in the electoral process. That's changes number 10. Section 47.2 made it compulsory for beavers to be used for election. And there's no confusion about it. Again, section 52 provided for virtually impaired, specially needs and vulnerables. All these are the major highlights of innovations provided by Electoral Act. What are the challenges that we are facing? The first challenge the Commission is facing the first major challenge the Commission is facing is multiplicity of court cases that we have in Nigeria now. As it is, there are a number of cases that they appeal, the judgment from those appeals are just coming. And all these, they are not healthy for the preparation and, and the readiness of the Commission. Is going to take us back to start, see how we can rejig the process of preparation. Orchestrated intention to commit electoral fraud. A lot of people will go to the polling unit. They want to make sure that they commit one fraud or the other. And the Commission has done everything possible to make sure that at the polling unit, there is no issue for anybody. But we have to see what our people are doing at the polling unit. Again, electorate lack of interest in the electoral process. A lot of people still believe that their votes don't count. If they go there, there's nothing that will happen. And I continue to assure people that their vote will count and their votes have been counted. Number 4, the electorate still lack the understanding, the basic understanding of the Electoral Act and our rules and regulations guiding the activities of the Commission. Apart from the Electoral Act, INEC has rules and regulations guiding the election. And finally, lack of understanding of the BVAS functionality. A lot of people don't know that BVAS is used for accreditation. BVAS is not used for voting on election day. Our people still assume that we use BVAS for casting vote on election day. So these are the few thoughts I think I should just share with us. Maybe some matters arising therefrom, we can address them subsequently. Thank you. God bless you. Yes.
Thank you very much,
Moderator.
Dr. Mutiu Agboke, for that beautiful presentation. He has been able to educate us on the 2023 general elections and the 2022 Electoral Act. the salient issues and the challenges of this act. As we know, there's misinformation in the general public about what is and what ought to be an elect. But I'm not surprised that our doctor has been able to explain this thing, simplify these things to us. On a lighter note, let me say that Dr. Agboke, I I have met you. Let me say I've met you I've not met you. I've listened to you before. When the Vice Chancellor nominated you or mentioned your name for this event, I was very excited because I've been listening to you on Fresh FM Ibadan, and it was always an amazing time listening to you on Fresh FM. So
Thank you.
finally happy to
Thank
hear
you
you
very much.
speak here today. So we have question and answer for Dr. Mutiu Agboke. Anybody who has any questions for our keynote speaker here today, we have. Um, let's take a few questions for him. If you have a question, please raise up your hand. Okay. Obiusi Kolawole. Please okay. I have 4 people here. Okay, Obiusi Kolawole, please unmute your microphone and ask your question. We'll take it one at a time. So,
Thank
Obiusi
you.
Kolawole, if you can hear me, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim Salah. Kudos to our presenter, Dr. Mutiu Agboke. Sir, and your organization at large, because you've been doing wonderfully well for this sensitization and awareness that has been carried out to the people for on how to have a perfect election in this their country. Please, sir, in regards of this the act of court in some states, please, what is the what can you say as a blunder from the organization?
Can you come again? What's the question, please, Mr. Obiusi?
They just concluded tribunal in the state of Osun State,
Okay.
rather. What can you say as a commission? What can you say as a blunder from the commission? Because
Okay.
the
No,
challenge.
I got you. I got your
Okay.
question. I think we can take more questions. Yes.
Okay, so you take a okay. Saidi, you have the floor, please.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Thank you, our facilitator. My question is about the election that just took place in Osun and the aftermath. So my question is, why do we have conflicting reports regarding the Osun election? So I would like our facilitator to throw more light on this. Thank you.
Okay. Tui Kasim, please go ahead. Tunde Kasim, please go ahead with your question, if you can hear me. Please unmute your microphone, please, sir. Okay, it seems we can't hear him. Okay, Adebowale Kehinde, please, you have the floor now. Please.
Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to be part of this discourse. If you can hear me very loud and clear, I think from the judgment of the tribunals in respect to Osun State gubernatorial election, allegedly some staff of INEC were found culpable. That means to as a political scientist and a philosopher, it shows that some people are working against the aspirations and collective interest of people. That they are not being checked. We have some people in INEC, allegedly, I quote unquote, I believe we have some staff who are working against the interests of populace. So the INEC needs to be firm with this. They need to have to put some measure in place to double check so that we will not have the occurrence of such thing in the near future. That's my concern. They have to work in to see. So I don't know there are technological devices who are going to be put in place, like camera or surveillance camera to be checking the INS staff, even before the election, who are fond of perpetrating illegality one way or the other. But the government clearly stated that INEC people are culpable. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Tunde Kasim, if you can go ahead with your question now.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. My question is on beavers. It's quite very unfortunate that some voters can bypass the beavers, because that is exactly what we rely on now to have a very, very accurate, free and fair elections. The case of Osun, the last election, and the court judgment shows that beavers was bypassed. So I want to ask our guest lecturer, how possible is it for beavers to be bypassed, and which resulted in overvoting? And if overvoting occurs in a particular polling booth, what is the implication? Is it going to be, the results of those polling booths are going to be cancelled, or because from the last judgment of tribunal, we found out that the results of those polling booths that were that people bypass the beavers, they cancel it, and at the same time they have to adjust the scores, for the two candidates, as it were. So what is the implication if beavers was bypassed in one way or the other during elections, and how do we ensure that there won't be overvoting in 2023, as it were? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Unfortunately, we can only take, let's say, one or two more people. Okay, let's take one more person, and then we suspend the remaining questions till the question and answer period at the end of the program. So, Ahmad Abdulkarim, please ask your question.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon. Yeah, sorry, I have two questions. Yeah, the first is that are there measures put in place to ensure that electorates who have been found wanting in terms of electoral malpractice are brought to the book? That is first question. Then secondly, is there the need to unbundle INEC in terms of the multiple roles that INEC plays? For instance, orientation function for election purposes, and also to try offenders too who are culpable in elections. So I feel that are this role not becoming overwhelming on INEC? So is there the need for us to truly unbundle INEC and, for instance, have commissions that will primarily try offenders and not just roles for INEC to play? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abdul Karim. So, Dr. Agboke, if you could attend to this question.
Yes. Yeah. First of all, I want to thank everybody for this. It shows with the little time of the presentation, we have been able to grasp the message, in detail. First of all, let me clear this. I think, and I know as a fact, because the Vice Chancellor did not tell me that I will be on this platform or panel, to be tried for whatever has happened, at the tribunal that just delivered the ruling. I know as a fact that that was not the intention. So I refuse in all attempts of any question to address any issue in whatever manner that has to do with the tribunal. I will address some salient issues because let me use this platform again to debunk the rumor or the misrepresentation of the commission in Osun State since yesterday that I said we admitted that there was overvoting in Osun last gubernatorial election. It's a mischievous release. If as such journalist, I'm looking for him. We have issues to settle. So I never said that. The video they are showing around, if you look at it very well, I was explaining the efficiency of the beavers to His Royal Majesty Oba Oluwo of Iwo Land, Oba Abdulrasheed Adewale Akanbi. So, of course, explaining it is not with direct reference to saying that there was, who am I to say there was overvoting? The issue of overvoting, I want to emphasize now for your knowledge. If you if you talk to me on WhatsApp, I will send the soft copy of Electoral Act and our guidelines to you on my phone number. My phone number is 37435 880 374 35 880. Just eye me. I will give you the soft copy. Go and read section 51, subsection 2. You will understand what we mean by overvoting there. And to determine whether there is overvoting or not, the court is there. The court is there to tell you what's overvoting based on what the law provided. So I didn't say that. I won't say that. I am not the court. The reporter said I admitted. How would I have admitted when I did not appear before the tribunal? So that is that. My brother, yes, it is good to unbundle INEC. We have a lot of job we are doing apart from the conduct of election. We register voters, we monitor congresses, we monitor campaigns, and again, we are also expected to prosecute election offenders. That is why INEC is supporting the Electoral Offenses Commission that will prosecute the electoral offenders. So I agree with you. There are a lot of work we are doing. So if we are unbundled, it is not an issue. Now, somebody asked me, how come was Beavers bypassed? I don't know how it happened. But the meaning of bypassing Beavers means you are supposed to vote before you are given the ballot paper. Beavers is supposed to accredit you. You did not go through the Beavers. You avoided Beavers and you find your way to get the ballot paper. That is the meaning of bypassing Beavers. Meaning nobody should cast ballot unless you are accredited through the Beavers. Yes, anyway, I don't think the tribunal said the commission was culpable. But of course, there are internal mechanisms for INEC to punish its staff. If anybody causes infraction in the electoral process, the person is in for it. So INEC has a way of punishing its staff. Why conflicting report? I am not aware of the report you are talking about. I didn't appear at the tribunal. I was not a lawyer at the tribunal. It's a matter for the tribunal to determine. I don't know whether there was a conflicting report or not. Blunder or lesson for the commission? No, the lesson that the commission will take away is that If there are issues surrounding certain infractions, the commission's responsibility is to examine those infractions, study them, how they can happen, then we can improve upon them. That is what INEC learned from one election to another election. And in doing that, it is given improvement and credibility to the process for us. Thank you.
الصلاة والسلام على